ॐ ब्रह्मानन्दं परमसुखदं केवलं ज्ञानमूर्तिं द्वन्द्वातीतं गगनसदृशं तत्त्वमस्यादिलक्ष्यम् एकं नित्यं विमलमचलं सर्वधी साक्षिभूतं भावातीतं त्रिगुणरहितं सद्गुरुं तं नमामि। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। प्रातः स्मरामि हृदि संस्फुरदात्मतत्त्वम् सच्चित्सुखं परमहंसगतिं तुरीयम् यत्स्वप्नजागर सुषुप्तमवेति नित्यम् तद्ब्रह्म निष्कलमहं न च भूतसङ्घः। तपोभिक्षीणपापानां शान्तानां वीतरागिणां मुमुक्षूणामपेक्षोऽयम् आत्मबोधो विधीयते बोधोऽन्यः साधनेभ्यो हि साक्षान्मोक्षैकसाधनम् पाकस्य वह्निवज्ञानं विना मोक्षो न सिद्ध्यति अविरोधितया कर्म नाविद्यां विनिवर्तयेत् विद्या विद्यां निहन्त्येव तेजस्तिमिरसङ्घवत् परिच्छिन्न इवाज्ञानात् तन्नाशे सति केवलः स्वयं प्रकाशते ह्यात्मा मेघापायेषुमानिव अज्ञानकलुषं जीवं ज्ञानाभ्यासाद् विनिर्मलं कृत्वा ज्ञानं स्वयं नश्येत् जलं कतकरेणुवत् संसारस्वप्नतुल्यो हि रागद्वेषादिसङ्कुलः स्वकाले सत्यवद्भाति प्रबोधे सत्यसद्भवेत् उपादानेऽखिलाधारे जगन्ति परमेश्वरे सर्गस्थितिलयान्यान्ति बुद्बुदानीव वारिणि सच्चिदात्मन्यनुस्यूते नित्ये विष्णौ प्रकल्पिताः व्यक्तयोः विविधाः सर्वाः कहाटके कटकादिवत् यथा काशो हृषीकेशो नानोपाधिगतो विभुः तद्भेदाद् भिन्नवद्भाति तन्नाशे केवलो भवेत् नानोपाधिवशादेव जातिवर्णाश्रमादयः आत्मन्यारोपितास्तो ये रसवर्णादिभेदवत् पञ्चीकृतमहाभूत सम्भवं कर्म सञ्चितं शरीरं सुखदुःखानां भोगायतनमुच्यते पञ्च प्राणमनो बुद्धिः दशेन्द्रियसमन्वितम् अपञ्चीकृतभूतोत्थं सूक्ष्माङ्गं भोगसाधनम् अनाद्यविद्यानिर्वाच्य कारणोपाधिरुच्यते उपाधित्रि उपाधित्रितयादन्य आत्मानमवधारयेत् पञ्चकोशादियोगेन तत्तन्मय इव स्थितः शुद्धात्मा नीलवस्त्रादि योगेन स्फटिको यथा वपुस्तुष वपुस्तुषादिभिः वपुस्तुषादिभिः कोशैः युक्तं युक्त्यावघाततः आत्मानमन्तरं शुद्धं विविच्यातण्डुलं यथा सदा सर्वगतोऽप्यात्मा न सर्वत्रावभासते बुद्धावेवावभासेत स्वच्छेषु प्रतिबिम्बवत् देहेन्द्रियमनो दे sorry देहेन्द्रियमनो बुद्धिः प्रकृतिभ्यो विलक्षणं तद्धृति तद् तदत्ति साक्षिणं विद्यात् आत्मानं राजवत्सदा व्यापृतेष्विन्द्रियेष्वात्मा व्यापारी वा विवेकिनां दृश्यते भ्रेषु धावत्सु धावन्निव यथा शशी आत्मचैतन्यमाश्रित्य देहेन्द्रियमनोधियः स्वक्रियार्थेषु वर्तन्ते सूर्यलोकं यथा जनाः ओम तत्सत्
Hari Om. We were doing avidya part, right? We have to repeat it. Yeah, okay. So that is the verse 14. Yesterday I read 2 times, but once again we will read. अनाद्य विद्या निर्वाच्या कारणोपाधिरुच्यते उपाधित्रितया धन्यम् आत्मानमवधारयेत्.
Jai Gurudev, Bela.
Yes.
Anadya Vidya. There is no, it's a small the. It is not here.
Oh,
Her.
Shamyata.
You can try read it again.
अनाद्य विद्या निर्वाच्या कारणोपाधिरुच्यते उपाधित्रितया धन्यम् आत्मानमवधारयेत्. इदानीं शुद्धं वा?
Astu Shuddham.
धन्यवाद. Anadi, beginningless, avidya, ignorance, anirvachya, indescribable, karanopadhihi, causal body, uchyate is said, upadhitritayadanya, other than the three conditioning bodies, atmanam, the atman, avadharayit, should understand. Anadi, avidya, anirvachya, karanopadi, uchyate, upadhi, tritayadanyam, atma, avadharayet. Avidya, which is indescribable and beginningless, is the causal body. Know for certain that the Atman is other than these three conditioning bodies, upadhis. In all cases of illusory superimpositions, such as a ghost vision in a post, the cause for the illusion is in the accidental non-apprehension of the real. The misapprehensions start. Where truth is not known, avidya, when the reality of thing is veiled, avarana, from us, we cannot but misinterpret the reality through our own misdirected imaginations, vikshepa, which form the delusory projections, adhyasa. When the intellect is clouded with ignorance, the mind dances in agitation, painting for itself an exhaustive picture of dark despair. When the spirit is not known due to the veiling layers of ignorance, avidya, the misapprehensions of the spirit as the various matter envelopments start. Identifying with these layers, the delusory sense of individuality arises, and this ego suffers the pains and agonies of existence, samsara. The mere non-apprehension, in case it is not creating any misapprehensions, is a condition of relative joy. The joyless joy state of sleep is an example in us when we are in pure avidya, in sheer non-apprehension of neither the self nor the non-self. This avidya is the causal body in as much as it is this ignorance of an eternal spirit perfection that has given us our governing desires in the intellect, thoughts in the mind, and actions through the body. The subtle body and gross body are the products of avidya, and therefore it is called the causal body. Beginningless, anadi. This is a description of this mysterious avidya, which the students of Vedanta in their early days of study find it very difficult to accept and assimilate. Clear light is thrown into this concept by the modern revelations in science. Time, according to modern scientists, is the interval between events, and in our textbooks of philosophical thoughts, a more vivid definition is given, which perhaps has a closer personal appeal. Time is the interval between experiences. To have an experience, three factors are necessary: the experiencer, subject, the experienced, object, and the right relationship established and maintained between the subject and the object, called the experiencing. Thus, the mind intellect instrument, the experiencer, must have a world of objects, the experienced, to establish the condition of experiencing, to have the first experience. At a single point A, there is no distance to measure. From point A to any point B, there is a distance. When the first experience ends, which is at the rise of a different experience, then alone can the concept of the first unit of time appear in our comprehension. Even for the very first experience, where time is impossible, we need the equipments of the intellect, mind, and body with a world of objects to perceive on, to feel for, and to think upon. Thus, even before time was perceived, the created world has come out, and to perceive it, the equipments of knowledge also must have been created. Avidya is the causal body for the subtle and gross envelopments, and therefore it cannot be qualified or measured by time, which is its own byproducts. My grandson complains, "Grandpapa, why did you not take me to the marriage of my granny?" Avidya is before time, anadi, timeless. This avidya is again qualified here by Shankara as indescribable, a thing that exists and which can be an object of our perception or feeling or thought alone, can be framed in expressions and explained or described. But avidya, which is the cause for the instruments of perceptions, feeling, and thought, cannot be brought fully within our experience, and hence the difficulty to explain it. Again, if a thing exists, it can be explained. A non existent thing also can be explained. Avidya can neither be said as existent nor as non existent, or both, and therefore it is inexplicable. Lastly, in Vedanta, the theme of discussion is Vidya and not Avidya. The seeker has come to the teacher seeking knowledge and not seeking to realize ignorance. Therefore, the Shastra says that the seekers need not try to understand and experience ignorance. It is impossible. With a torch, however fast we may run, we will never be able to see darkness. Night flies before the vivid rays of the morn. Keeping a burning gaslight on his head, one fool once walked the whole night through, trying to place that light at some place where there is darkness. Failed. The more we try to understand or know ignorance, the more it moves off until they reach the true knowledge. So, avidya is anadi, beginningless, and anirvachya.
Can I
It is,
request you to go back a little before that example of the grandson asking his to see his grandfather's
yeah,
marriage?
that was about the
What
time.
time? Yeah, on the time, I think the last paragraph. Can you just read it once a little slowly, please?
Yeah, yeah, sure. Time, according to modern scientists, is the interval between events. And in our textbooks of philosophical thought, a more vivid definition is given, which perhaps has a closer personal appeal. Time is the interval between experiences. To have an experience, three factors are necessary: the experiencer, subject, the experienced, object, and the right relationship established and maintained between the subject and the object called the experiencing. Thus, the mind intellect instrument, the experiencer, must have a world of objects, the experienced, to establish the condition of experiencing, to have the first experience. At a single point A, there is no distance to measure. From point A to any point B, there is a distance. When the first experience ends, which is at the rise of a different experience, then alone can the concept of the first unit of time appear in our comprehension. Even for the very first experience, where time is impossible, we need the equipments of the intellect, mind, and body with a world of objects to perceive on, to feel for, and to think upon. Thus, even before time was perceived, the created world has come out, and to perceive it, the equipments of knowledge also must have been created. Avidya is the causal body for the subtle and gross envelopments, and therefore it cannot be qualified or measured by time, which is its own byproducts. My grandson complains, Grandpapa, why did you not take me to the marriage of my granny? Avidya is before time, anadi, timeless. Should I read furthermore also? This avidya is again qualified here by Shankara as indescribable, a thing that exists and which can be an object of our perception or feeling or thought alone, can be framed in expressions and explained or described. But avidya, which is cause for the instruments of perception, feeling, and thought, cannot be brought fully within our experience, and hence the difficulty to explain it. Again, if a thing exists, it can be explained. A non existent thing also can be explained. Avidya can neither be said as existent nor as non existent or both, and therefore it is inexplicable. Lastly, in Vedanta, the theme of discussion is Vidya and not avidya. The seeker has come to the teacher seeking knowledge and not seeking to realize ignorance. Therefore, the Shastra says that the seekers need not try to understand and experience ignorance. It is impossible. With a torch, however fast we may run, we will never be able to see darkness. Night flies before the vivid rays of the morn. Keeping a burning gaslight on his head, one fool once walked the whole night through, trying to place that light at some place where there is darkness. Failed. The more we try to understand or know ignorance, the more it moves off until we reach the true knowledge.
Very, very beautifully explained by Swamiji. The concept of avidya, concept of the karana sharira. And why with the karana sharira is the cause for the sthula and sukshma shariras. And it's in the sukshma sharira that we have the mind intellect equipment. And it is with this mind that we can experience this this concept of time. And because it is a product of karana sharira, you cannot really understand this karana sharira with the mind. Therefore, it is beyond logic, beyond our intellect. That is why it is inexplicable. And it is anadi, it is even before time. So very beautifully in that point A to point B, unless we have that point B, if you have only point A, like in the bindu or in the center of a circle, you have not still drawn a circle, it's only the center, you don't experience time. It is only, there is only one, that is only Advaita. Whereas only when you have the second point, does that Dvaita begin. That is where creation happens. And in this point, I would request all of you who have not yet listened to or experienced the Mandala Vatika that Dr. Prabhakar Rao has conceptualized, and he's got a beautiful bundle course. At least look at I'll send some pictures, I will send some videos today in the group. Please have a look. And that will give us an explanation of how creation happened, this concept of time and space, and it'll help us deepen our understanding.
Hariom. Actually, there was a confusion regarding the time, that time is like this property of the causal body, that it is anadi. So I think it was who was asking it? Mrinalji was asking, I think.
Yeah, Mrinal.
Yeah. So what I just read from all these 2-3 books which were there in Atma bodha, Tattva bodha. So what I was drawing a picture was that of a DNA. Though we can see DNA by very electron microscopy, but if you know that in our composition, can we visualize or acknowledge it? We cannot acknowledge the DNA, no? But it has all the attributes of our constitution, like what is my body made up of, my characters, my body type, then everything relating to my sense organs and organ of action. So all the attributes is imprinted on that DNA. So, but in this, when we talk of the causal body, So causal body, it is said to be avidya because it is that it is not known. The truth is not known. So it is called avidya. Because we manifest from this causal body by the subtle and the gross body. These two bodies manifest from this, but we cannot perceptualize, like we cannot visualize or feel that perception. We do not have of that causal body, though it is the reason for us to take birth with these two bodies. But it is not, we cannot see it, we cannot know it. So that is why it is called avidya, and that is because of that veil of ignorance which a person has. So it is like uh, it is a product of these two, the subtle and the causal. They are the product of this causal body, that is called the avidya. And it is anadi because it is beginningless. So beginningless, it means that when the creation happened, we read, no, thus in this last page of 32, thus even before time was perceived, the created world has come out. So the world was already there, and all our actions and our, like all our sanchit karma, prarabdha karma, they were all present. That matter was there. And when that first karma start, we do not know. So it is that the world was there, but for to perceive it, that matter, to perceive it, something has to be made so that we can have we can have those subtle and gross body, and we can experience it. So that in this way, that causal body was created. But like this is my understanding, I do not know. And this causal body was created just to perceive, like how it has, like to know that knowledge and all that. And it is not known when first karma was done by us. So it is beginningless. And therefore, because it is beginningless, the concept of time is also not there. Because as Dr. Brahmara said, point A, when you move from to point B, then only you will have the first unit of time. But in this case, you are not able to know that causal body. It is like, it is avidya. It is not easily perceptualized. So that experiencer and the experience, this definition which was given, how to perceive the things, where we have the subject, object, and the experiencing. So for like this does not complete itself here. And because we cannot experience that, so after one experience is drawn, the second experience, where one ends, the second starts. So that frame of time where one experience finishes and the second start, it is the concept of time which is mentioned. So that is why it is beginningless. You cannot frame it with, you cannot measure it with time, because it is not known. Like avidya and anadi, they are like, these properties are merging into one another. And similarly, when we talk of again avidya in a form of that, avidya, causal bodies properties avidya, and we know that this, because of this causal body, these two bodies are manifesting. So that is the existent part, that is the sat. We know that. But because we cannot experience it, and we cannot perceptualize it, so it is called asat. So it is both existent and non-existent, and that property is called anirvajya, where you cannot know, like what is uh, it is existing in both state. It can be existent or non-existence or both. So that it is inexplicable, and that is properties anirvachya. So all these properties, they literally merge. And the example of this grandson and grandfather, like it can be said that the grandfather and the grandmother, they were the causal body behind that grandson. So it is grandson is the byproduct of these two. And they can, and it cannot be like, it cannot be, you cannot there the time concept is not, cannot be measured there, because it is this is only their own byproducts. This example I am not like cannot explain much, because this what I figured out is that because that grandson and the grandfather and the grandmother, they are uh, they are the reason behind that grandson. So it for his grandson, they are the, as we say, the causal body is the uh, reason for our subtle and gross body. Similarly, the grandson is the byproduct of these two grandparents. So, so in that way, because it cannot be known when that creation started, it cannot be known. So it is therefore they have said that it cannot be qualified or measured by time.
Jai Gurudev. But
Yeah,
just
and
because
wonderful.
I cannot cognize the reality, in the sense, I have not seen my grandmother, doesn't mean she was not there, right?
no, she was there,
She was there. She
but
was the reason. So
yeah, so
she was
it
there,
is
right?
just a,
So
it is just an example to
yeah,
explain that
no,
the causal
correct,
body,
absolutely.
yeah.
So with
You,
the same example,
if you
even
go
we can
into that
think, right?
concept, and as I'm telling you of the DNA
Correct.
exists, we can see from the microscope. I'm just giving an just a comparison of the causal body with DNA. In similar way, they have given this example so that we can understand that concept of time. Because how can the grandson go behind and watch their marriage? He cannot. No. So how can we, like, we do not know the causal body, it is not known, it cannot be perceived. So there is no concept of time. It is that truth which is not known. That is why it is called avidya. And it is coming from so many such a long period of time, that we do not know when it started, when did our first karma start and that causal body happened. So that is why it is called beginningless, and there is no time concept, because the point A is not discerned. The point A is, we cannot discern the point A. After point A, if it discerned, then only we can move to point B. No, so it cannot be experienced that in the form of a time. So
But at
it is
least we
there.
know, that there was a causal body first, right? And then
Yeah,
the subtle bodies came out. So there, here at least we know the causal body was is the reason. So why could we not? Can we not take? Okay, doesn't see. It doesn't mean that I don't have a scale, because the scale did not come in the existence. Doesn't mean that we I could not have there was no distance between 2 points. Just
yeah.
because the instrument has come into picture, now I can measure the thing, doesn't mean there were no sorry, there were no uh, distances. There were distances. It is
Yeah, so
that
that is
the
why
I
it is
got the
called,
knowledge.
no. Yeah.
Yeah, the
So that,
agyana, there is agyana, doesn't mean there was agyana then. But the concept of time, I felt that there was a time was there, but just because I could not cognize then, because my intellect mind was not created then, doesn't mean it was not there.
So that is why
I'm
it is
born
called
there. I cannot
Anivachya. No,
see
it
my
is.
grandmother. Doesn't mean
Yeah.
she was not there.
Yeah,
So
so this property, this is the anirvachya. That is, he says that we know that this subtle and gross body came from the causal body. We know that, but we cannot perceive it. So we will say that it is two ways we can say, no. If we cannot perceive it by our instrument of perception, then how would we know it? Then we will say it is non-existent, it is asat. But when we say that no, this gross body and subtle body came from this body, we know this truth, then we will say that it is sat, it is existent.
see,
This property.
again,
I just give an
Savita ji,
example
it is
here.
again we where we can cognize there is Atma. It's just the faith that we are going with, that it is there, right?
Yeah, the
Am I
truth is
able to
there.
cognize
Yes,
that now also?
yes.
No, it is
The very
inexplicable.
fact that you're speaking, it is evidence that there is, isn't it? The very fact that you are speaking, the very fact that we are talking, we are able
Because
to
I'm
understand.
assuming, Brahmaraji, I'm
It's not
assuming it
assuming.
is.
See, otherwise, supposing you are in deep sleep, or you look at, I mean, giving an extreme example, a corpse. Will a corpse be able to speak, understand, and talk? No. So there is something in that corpse that makes it alive. What is that? That is the chit. That is the Sat Swarupa. That is the Atma. That we cannot deny, isn't it? So I'll give an example with respect to time, very beautifully explained, Savitaji, and thanks, Mrinal, for bringing up this so that we're having this discussion. In deep sleep, do we experience time? See, in order, time, to begin with, time is a byproduct of avidya. That is number one. Supposing there is only a point, there is only a single point, there is no other point, there is no experience, there is no world of objects, there is no experiencer, there is only one. That is the Advaita, that's the Atman state, right? From there comes, that is the Brahma. Understand that that is Brahma. Brahmashraya Maya. From there, the Maya starts. So when you draw one more point, you put up one more point, that is from point A is the first point, and point B is the second point. Then you can draw a line. So this point B is, we'll assume that it is this Maya, it is the birth of avidya. From there comes the concept of time. Time flows out of this avidya. Otherwise, there was no time at all. That is why it is called Kalatita. Kalatita is who the enlightened person is beyond time. He's gone, transcended time. Now, keeping that at one point, in deep sleep, all of us, when we experience deep sleep, do we experience time? We only get up and we say, oh, we had such a good sleep. I did not know for how long I slept. Can you quantify how long you slept in that deep sleep? You just have that experience. But when you get up, you look at the clock, you say, oh, from this time to that time, I slept. So in that deep sleep state, it is like we are in that Karana Sharira, complete, we are in that blissful state, but covered by avidya. So we don't experience time. But upon waking up with this instrument called the mind and intellect, then you are able to experience the time. Similarly, mind, intellect are a byproduct of the Karana Sharira. So you cannot understand the Karana Sharira using our mind. That is why it is anirvachya. That is why it's inexplicable. No matter how much you try, in that example that is given, you want to find out darkness, and this guy is going with, a torch on his head. Can he find that darkness? He cannot. So the more we are into this, you're on the path of knowledge. It is not possible for us to find ignorance, because every time you're aware, the ignorance vanishes. You can't search for ignorance on the path of knowledge. And this purpose of our life is to seek knowledge.
That is why the Shastra says, na, don't try to understand or experience this ignorance. Go beyond this ignorance.
Understand
That,
it is there. It is
yeah.
it is there. That is why we are there. That is why we go through this misery. That is why we have this identification of the body, mind, intellect, the misapprehension that we are the body. That is because of avidya. That much we understand, right? So our seeking should be, how can we dispel this avidya? And that is the Vedanta. Whole Vedanta is about dispelling this avidya, dispelling this misapprehension.
And
I
the
don't know.
last line is that no, the more we try to understand or know ignorance, the more it moves off until we reach the true knowledge. So this is how we move from ignorance to true knowledge. No, we try and by negating, by the process of negation, which we studied a few days back. Swamiji was explaining, no, that Shivoham, how by negation it is to be understood. So it is like to trying to know that ignorance. We are ultimately seeking that true knowledge or that Atma. This is, and by just only by negation can we do this. The Shastra explained in this way.
Beautiful explanations, both of you, doctors. Wonderful analysis. Really very, very good. We are lucky
You
to
know,
have.
I was like this causal body. Always, whenever this topic comes, it has a hazy picture in the mind. So
Yeah,
I thought, what is it that how come it is not getting clear, and why don't we remember this word avidya, anadi, anirvachya? Why? So I then I just when I read it, every line of in Atma bodha described in this text, it is so intense and deep that every line you have to focus. If you read with a focused mind, you will understand the whole thing very easily.
easy.
And it is
Yes.
very beautifully given in Atma Bodha. Because I read the Tattva Bodha also, then I read the other book of Tattva Bodha. Both books I read. Then it was quite clear. So now if you read it again, it would literally settle down in your intellect, I think. These are
Though
all
it
the
is anirvachaniya, you expressed it so nice. So good.
But you still will not be able to completely comprehend
Complete
it.
it. Yes, yes,
And it is
right.
okay.
Yeah,
It is okay. We are not here to
correct.
comprehend ignorance.
Conference. Yes.
We are here to be in knowledge. So
Absolutely.
yeah,
it's
but
okay. So I think
Absolutely. And
that is
see,
where Vinal, that is pricking you. Is
correct.
in that you want to understand what it is. It's all right.
yeah.
It's okay. Let go. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter. If you don't understand ignorance, and it is not possible to understand. This is what the Shastras have told us.
Because we are in
Absolutely,
darkness.
because see, it is not with the purpose or with the intention to know ignorance. It is just that it has been mentioned over here, and when it is mentioned in the book, it is intended that we understand at least so much, right? So that understanding I'm not having completely, and as you rightly said, we cannot cognize. It is out of our reach. Then definitely yes, that's why it is called avidya, right? That the knowledge we don't have is avidya, isn't it? And we cannot know it, definitely. That I get it. But the concept of time, just because my cognition was born, at least this statement we can take from this book, it has happened after the causal body. So there was something for my cognition. There is a birth. There is a by step it has happened. So how are we saying that the point A was this? At least in my cognition, the causal body was first, and then I was born. So what do we think?
what do we say? That it came from there.
Anadi.
Anadi. Yeah, that's why we cannot know. And just because we cannot answer this, it is avidya. And we cannot explain it because we don't know about it. Isn't it? These things I get. But my grandmother was not there. That concept I'm not getting. With this example. I know
No,
this is an example.
There, no one is saying grandmother was not there. Because the grandmother was there, you are there.
Correct.
You are like time, and grandmother is like the causal body or the avidya.
Absolutely.
Isn't it? So,
Yeah.
so that is it.
Very, very good.
Yeah. Only so much I can understand. And only so
Very,
much
Enough.
very
I
nice.
think that much
explain.
is enough for us to
Yeah.
understand.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Very, very good.
I have
One thing one
example.
thing I
I
wanted
am
to
the
share.
center of universe, and I have a origin from my grandparents. Grandparents have their grandparents, and it is so long, means so many generations. Still, we cannot find our source.
Pinpoint.
Isn't
Yes.
it? That is also true.
It is like, if I can extrapolate the snake and the rope, it is like the snake trying to find its origin as the snake. The only thing it requires to do is to get some light, so it
Knowledge.
understands that snake concept disappears. What is the truth is the rope. It is a snake trying to figure out, oh, I had a grandfather snake and a grandmother snake, and therefore go on and on and on, generations over generations. It is only a misapprehension. So
Avidya.
similarly, this body is actually not real. This matter that we see is not real. It's all a misapprehension. It is Sat as well as Asat. That is the beauty about it. Maya is Ya Masa Maya. That which is not but appears as though it is Maya. The
But it
mirage
can
that
be
we see on the
experienced,
road.
right?
Huh?
But
Huh?
it can be,
Yeah, it
we
is
are all
experience.
experiencing it,
Yes,
isn't it?
yes,
And this
because
is
of
the
the mind
Maya.
body.
Yeah.
That is the
And
Maya.
in this Maya only, we are learning this knowledge which has
Correct.
happened in Maya itself, right? Then how can we say that this is, and through this knowledge which has happened in Maya, the Krishna who has given this Gita is also Mayavi, right? He has taken birth in Maya. So is this not a part of Maya? And through that tools which are happened in Maya, and how can we say that it is just an illusion? So who is saying this?
In the Bhagavad Gita, no, it's a very beautiful question you have. In the Bhagavad Gita, I think in the chapter 3 or 4, it is said the Vedas have been born out of Brahma. If I can't remember the exact shloka.
Right, right.
So the
Yeah, they
Vedas
are
are the pramana,
Brahma.
Shabda
Yeah.
pramana. There
Yeah.
are different forms of knowledge. Here, when we come back to this knowledge that we're discussing, it's all in Maya. But when you look at the origin of the Shabda, the different forms of knowledge, different pramanas, you have Pratyaksha pramana, Anumana, Agama. Agama is the one that comes out of, that is the Shastra, Veda. So I think in somewhere we read, either in the Bhagavad Gita or in, I can't remember where, maybe in Bhagavad Gita, where the only means of knowledge is Shabda. And that Shabda is the Vedas. The Vedas have been born from Brahma.
Yeah, we read in Tathbodha.
So for that is where Shraddha is required. How do you know? It is like that example of that person who is blind and has been operated upon by the surgeon, and he is blindfolded. He's got his eye bands on. The surgeon is asking him, "Come on, please open up your eyes. I will. Then I will. You will be able to see. Then we'll know whether the operation is successful or not." But this person is saying, "No. You prove to me that I am able to see. Then I will open my eyes." So there, that element of Shraddha is required. That this knowledge is also from Maya. It is actually, it's coming from Brahma, the Vedas. That is the Shabda Pramana.
we have to have that bit of Shraddha. So this person who is blindfolded has to have that Shraddha in the surgeon. Say, okay, I will open my eyes, then we will be able to see. Then he understands, right? With his eyes shut, how can he validate whether he's able to see or not? So that much Shraddha we need to have. That is why Shraddha is one of those in the Shat Sampatti. It is not blind belief again, mind you. It is not blind belief. It's belief pending inquiry. This inquiry is all. That is all about inquiry.
No, believing in the unknown.
Believe in the unknown. And the result of which will be that you experience or realize the unknown.
Like any trigonometry, geometry, you want to prove, you have to assume it and then go and again say equal. That is the same it is. That
Right.
Shraddha is needed. Without the Shraddha one, then there is no knowledge.
I know it's a very deep question you have, Rinal, and thank you for bringing it up. There are some things that you have to just wonder. No?
Yeah.
A question turning into a wonder it brings you into that experience. The Vijnan Bhairav is all about that. Where all our questions, the question hook is converted into an exclamatory mark. And yoga is all about that.
One more thing, just I was thinking, see, as a beginner, I didn't even know what was Tattva Bodha, Atma Bodha. And if Guruji had just told me, you are that Atman, you are that Brahman. And since I have full Shraddha in Guruji, I would have just believed in it. Then why this effort of creating so many books where it takes us to just again have blind belief? There will be so much of confusion between, and where some things cannot be explained, then it is avidya, right? And then you leave it there, where I started from, where I'm going to have a Shraddha, which is going to explain to me, the books are explaining to me what I'm seeing over here, in going into detail about my existence, but it doesn't explain how it started. Okay, again, you tell me to have Shraddha. Okay, this is your avidya. Fine. But then I could have been happy, be happy with what Guruji had said, told me. Because here,
that is what
with the
Guruji
knowledge,
says, no? Do not go
At
into
one
deep.
point, you have to drop the knowledge also, no?
Yes, absolutely.
After
Because
knowing that knowledge.
yes, because where I
knowledge is
started,
required to purify the intellect. That is what Gurudev himself says. He
but
himself
it is
says,
creating so much of confusion in me.
No, it is not
जान
confusion.
के चलो कुछ मान के चलो और
Vichara.
छोड़ दो.
See, what is happening to you is there is vichara happening. And that without vichara, just viveka without vichara is not going to help. So that inner inquiry is important. What is all of this? Why is this? So those questions, that is the nididhyasana that is required. So you
And
cannot
of course,
blindly
clarity of mind will also be there, no? When that antakarna shuddhi will happen, only then that you will have a clarity of mind and steady mind, and you can understand this knowledge. And when you will understand, only then only you can seek the truth. Otherwise, just that, if you just believe Guruji's word, he said, that I will say it is a blind faith. That is blind faith. But when you are reading in this knowledge, and then you are coming to know, and then you compare with Guruji's word, then you see that what truth he is speaking. So then that knowledge seeps into you, and that shuddhi which happens inside, it is because of that you are able to perceive this knowledge.
Otherwise, Gurudev would not be giving us so many knowledge.
Very good. Very good explanation.
Why does he give us knowledge? He could have just told us, you are Atma, just go with that. Why is he giving knowledge? The very fact that
Shastra would not have existed, no? The Shastra would be meaningless.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. where it is leading us to unknown only, no? Which cannot be explained
No,
and which
No,
is
no,
out
no.
of
It's
avidya.
unknown. It is not leading to unknown. It is leading to the truth. We are
Truth.
we
Truth.
are seeking the
Where
moksha.
is the explanation? Where I would need an explanation, right? For
see, the
No
something
whole
need.
which I
No
want
Manopatya,
to
need.
know.
No need. You will
It
experience it.
it will only happen after experiencing.
That is what.
Yeah.
That's the
Nothing more.
ultimate.
see, the
That is
whole
ultimate. Until when you are thinking, then it is until that you are going towards it. But when it happens, it happens. That is it. You
Right.
need not. You need not have to explain what happened, and
the
that is
whole,
anarchania.
yeah, the whole
Until you
Vedanta,
go there, you will all think like this, and until you are in that buddhi, this one, you have to leave it, negate it, negate it, negate it, negate it, and come to the standstill point where you wonder and you become. There you cannot explain, and you are that.
And you can
you
experience
don't,
that bliss.
Whatever we are doing it, it is just going until the door, until that, whatever we are, there we are going, and you have to have that patience, you have to have that standstill, you have to, patience only will help you later on. You have to
See,
be within yourself. Yes.
and this
Then
I was
prakara,
when it happens, you cannot think that you are happening. It is there. It is there. That cannot be told. It cannot be explained. It is anvachaniya. It is this. That's it. What we are doing is just going until the door. And
Jai
Guruji has already opened the door and he is standing there. We have to just go there.
Yeah, Guru, in Bhagavad Gita also Krishna tells Arjuna, no,
Same thing. Yes.
you won't be able to understand with your intellect, for which I have to give you
He
the
says,
jnana chakshu.
I have told you the knowledge. You decide now what you want to do. But because you are my favorite bhakta, I tell you, you just believe in me and proceed. Then you will reach me. He says, you will reach me. Reach me? No, you will become me. That is the ultimate.
Right now, we are trying to understand it with our
Understand it.
limited
Yeah.
mind.
Therefore, mind.
Our mind is limited at this point in
That is
various
what
stages. So it is
actually
again
what is
going.
unknown. What is
that why
unknown is
that
causal
hook
body,
is
no?
there, that question mark, why, no? That hook is there. We have to make it straight. Wonder.
What we are trying to understand is already unknown, avidya,
No,
anadi.
yeah.
We should not go and trying this, because it is one quality is that no, it is sharir vyasya karan matram. I think only this, if we can remember that it is the cause, that ignorance, which because of which all the action, that ignorance is the root cause of all
Root
actions.
cause of all that.
So, yeah, and it is all that tendencies which we had, in the inherent tendencies in the past, we all that in the, they will be manifested, those vasanas will manifest in the body which is to take birth. So it is like a blueprint type, and you, all the manifestation happens according to the circumstances, and you have what you have to go through. Only that with that sanchit and prarabdha karma you will be born. Not sanchit, we will be born with that prarabdha karma. So it is
That is spiraling. It is spiral.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
So it is only that
it is
vasanas
matrix
which
into
are,
the matrix into the matrix into the matrix. We are just deleting one matrix and one matrix and one matrix, and we are going towards that.
so it is just
We don't know how it has started. That matrix, first matrix, we don't know at all. So we are, with the help of Guru, we are just removing neti, 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 neti. That is what it comes to. They would have just said, you are that, and just leave it. No. Because the world is there, we are seeing it, we have to negate that. One by one, one by one, one by one, one by layer by layer. That is what is matrix, no? When you solve one matrix, from the inner matrix, you go out, 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 out and find the solution. Therefore, it is called matrix.
Brahmaraji always give the example, no? Ki Dr. Dhoor have studied the matter and he said matter doesn't exist. Same way, we doesn't exist at all. All these are the Maya.
Maya, we are in spiral. That. So we have to negate one by one, small, one, negate. This is not that, this is not that. Because we are existing in the existing world and we have to negate it one by one. We cannot say that world doesn't exist. Our buddhi doesn't agree with it. Slowly, slowly we have to negate it. Therefore that neti has come. Then after neti, we have to come to soham.
And the reason why we have these granthas, these are all prakarana granthas, right? See, even Bhaj Govindam, so beautifully, but Shankaracharya gave us a perspective of how we get caught up in the world and why study of Vedanta is important, why you have to go within. So he is, otherwise, if these texts were not there, we would not have an insight into the understanding of the Vedanta, what the Upanishads have to say. Otherwise, we can live our whole life like that old man learning grammar. You can live your life, no problem at all. But for a mumukshu, if you really want to seek knowledge, you want to seek freedom, you want to say, what is this life? Why am I going through all of this? What is the purpose of my life? That's the birth of the mumukshu. It is for a mumukshu that all these are required. These prakarana granthas, to explain the terms and terminologies that are actually used in the higher texts, Upanishads. Otherwise, you would not understand what is the mind, what is ahankara, what is the intellect. Tattvabodh gives us a beautiful explanation of how everything happens. What is the mind? Sankalpa vikalpatmakam manaha. Then you understand. And nischayatmika buddhi. Do you know what is this? And ahankarta ahankaraha. So then you have that understanding. And every bit of knowledge, when you understand and make it your own, it should not just remain in the mind. It should come to your heart and becomes your experience. That is purifying the intellect. And in a purified intellect, you're able to see the pratibhimbam of Atma. Like you're cleaning the mirror, cleaning it every time. So every time we are in this knowledge, we are cleaning up a little bit of our dirt inside. That clarity dawns. And compared to how we were 2 years back to now, or even before Art of Living to now, there's huge difference. I mean, there is some deeper level of understanding. So we're on the path of knowledge. So all these are required. We cannot negate these books. Of course, you don't need to read all the scriptural books. Again, that Maya, Aghatita Ghatana, Patiyasi Maya. You might say, oh, I've read so much. But Maya is that will topple up even a person who's read so much. It's not just about reading. It is about bringing it to your
being.
To just be that. Yeah.
That's how the Yoga Vasishtha, goes into the story, like that only, it just goes. So we have to negate one by one. Where it begins, we don't know. That Ahalya will go and she will just remove her body and she will enter into the other one and the other thing. That's how it is happening. No, matrix. We are into that avidya and going on in that spiral of samsara. And we are getting this knowledge to dissipate, just remove neti and come to that soham, being. Just be.
Satchidananda, actually. Otherwise, if knowledge would not have been in our life, how much sad or worried or something, every negative quality we have acquired, no?
It's just like a dream. And as Brahmana was telling, that deep sleep, we cannot know the time. And when you get up, you will see. No, but when you get up, you don't know. You are in the dream state or in the deep sleep. Deep sleep, we just don't know what time we slept and what time we got up. You know, deep sleep, we cannot know at all when it is started, the deep sleep. Okay, there are measurements now they are developing, and that is a different thing. But really, we will not know. As soon as we sleep, it doesn't mean that we are in the deep sleep. We are in the dream state, we are in this, and again come back and go back. So it's just an unknown. It is really wonderful. We have to just accept it and proceed further. Time is really Kala. Kala will come only with the space. You know, and that is the, in that space, due to the mind, we divide that space. My body takes little one space and I move. Then only that third dimension comes because of the I, that also.
Only because of the perceptions.
Perception, I. And because of that, time starts. That is that too they say right eye in the Upanishad. In the right eye, the three dimension will come. In the left eye, it is two dimensional. They are so deep into it. So many things are there that to just forget it, go into the meditation. That is erased. You cannot erase that memories. Guruji was telling that we have seen the shot. So you cannot remove the memory. I think yesterday's this one or the day before.
Short reels.
Yeah. So we cannot erase it. We have to just move on and find the knowledge. Come to the being. And yesterday I was in the ashram for the Navratri. Oh, so wonderful. Therefore, I could not attend this one. I was morning 6 o'clock. So wonderful. You be there 5 hours, Chandi Homa. And Guruji was wonderful there. That we are blessed to find such Guruji. And yesterday night, satsang, he gave the Shakti, so many Shaktis, Devatas, what they do and all that. So nice it is. We have got Guru, and Guru is needed, and he is taking us to this one, and we have to make use of him to remove that all the barrier. Jai Gurudev.
Happy Ram Navami to everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We have revised, I think, Bhagavad Gita, Atma bodha, Tattva bodha in such a limited span of time. Dhanyavad everybody for sharing such wonderful insight into the concept of time. But we have limited time. So I will just say the
Very good. Very
Atma
well
bodha,
done.
that the shloka which I repeated yesterday, Karana Shariram Kim Anirvachya Anadya Avidyarupam Shariradvayasya Karanamatram Satswarupa Ajnanam Nirvikalpakarupam Yadasti Tat Karana Shariram. And Shankariji has shared the biggest example is where we have reached with the help of the knowledge so much peace and acceptance for the present moment. Jai Gurudev. Yeah, very beautiful sharing. So I will move ahead, Brahmaraji. Shall I?
Yeah, maybe one shloka we can do and then we'll close. We close at 6:25 so that we have time for.
Okay, धन्यवाद. पंचकोशादियोगेन तत्तन्मय इव स्थितः शुद्धात्मा नीलवस्त्रादियोगेन स्फटिको यथा. पंचकोशादियोगेन, by identification with the 5 sheets, that tanmayah, identical with that, eva, like sthitah, appears, shuddhatma, the pure self, nila vastradi yogena, by association with blue garment, phatikah, crystal, yatha, just as, panchakoshadi yogena tat tanmayah iva sthitah shuddhatma नीलवस्त्रादि योगेन स्फटिक यथा. In its identification with the sheets, the immaculate Atma, Atman, appears to have borrowed their qualities upon itself, as in the case of a crystal which appears to gather unto itself color of its vicinity. I hope I am correct in the pronunciation of the word vicinity, vicinity, blue cloth, etc. I repeat once again the meaning. In its identification with the 5 sheets, the immaculate Atman appears to have borrowed their qualities upon itself, as in the case of a crystal, which appears to gather unto itself color of its vicinity, blue cloth, etc. Here we are given an answer as to how the perfect, the immaculate self happens to be contaminated by the impure and the imperfect. The self is ever pure and is the same everywhere and is never contaminated by the finite objects in creation, nor by the different layers of matter which are the products of our non-apprehension of the truth. We wrongly seem to imagine, however, that this unchanging supreme, because of its association with the imperfect objects, conditioned by various limitations, gathers to itself the stink of the 5 sheets when life is expressed through the mind and the sense organs. There is a footnote. The personality in man is conveniently analyzed into 5 layers on the basis of their distinct functions, and these are called as the Panchakoshas. The 5 sheets, they are Annamaya Kosha, food sheet, Pranamaya Kosha, vital air sheet, Manomaya Kosha, mental sheet, Vijnanamaya Kosha, intellectual sheath, and Anandamaya Kosha, bliss sheath. The venom of the superimposed serpent cannot poison the rope, its substratum. The blood on the lips of the ghost can never leave any stain upon the innocent post. A clear glass tumbler seems to take up the color of the tablecloth on which it happens to stand. Similarly, because of the seeming identification and association of the pure self with the 5 sheets, as it expresses itself in and through them, we mistakenly identify the 5 sheets as our own true nature. The takeaway, I repeat this paragraph again. A clear glass tumbler seems to take up the color of the tablecloth on which it happens to stand. Similarly, because of the seeming identification and association of the pure self with the 5 sheets, as it expresses itself in and through them, we mistakenly identify the 5 sheets as our own true nature. The 5 sheets are A. The gross physical structure, the anatomical, Annamaya. B. The vital air sheath, the physiological, Pranamaya. C. The mental sheath, the psychological, Manomaya. D. The intellectual sheath, Vijnanamaya. And E. The bliss sheath, Anandamaya. I will quickly browse through again the 15th interpretation. Here we are given an answer as to how the perfect, the immaculate self happens to be contaminated by the impure and the imperfect. The self is ever pure and is the same everywhere and is never contaminated by the finite objects in creation, nor by the different layers of matter which are the products of our non apprehension of the truth. We wrongly seem to imagine, however, that this unchanging supreme, because of its association with the imperfect objects, conditioned by various limitations, gathers to itself the stink of the 5 sheets when life is expressed through the mind and the sense organs. The venom of superimposed serpent cannot poison the rope, its substratum. The blood on the lips of the ghost can never leave any stain upon the innocent post. A clear glass tumbler seems to take up the color of the tablecloth on which it happens to stand. Similarly, because of the seeming identification and association of the pure self with the 5 sheets, as it expresses itself in and through them, we mistakenly identify the 5 sheets as our own nature. The 5 sheets are the gross physical structure, anatomical, Annamaya, the vital air sheath, the physiological, Pranamaya, the mental sheath, the psychological, Manomaya, the intellectual sheath, Vijnanamaya, and the bliss sheath, Anandamaya. So we have to disassociate ourselves with that conditioning with our physical, mental body. Then only we can, because our true Swabhava is Sat Chit Ananda, Swarupa, Kshameta. But because we are so much conditioned with that association with our physical body, we suffer. And at the same time, we enjoy also, both. Yeah. Please share your understanding.
I think these two examples, if we keep in mind, if you're going through some difficulty or anything in life, the venom of the snake cannot poison the rope, and the blood on the lips of the ghost cannot taint the post. So it's all imaginary. That is why Gurudev says in the advanced course, in one of the last videos that we are shown, says, understand that there is no misery. All this misery and all these difficulties and all the so-called pain that we go through is just like the venom of the snake. It is non-existent. The truth is that we are bliss, Satchidananda. All that is only a superimposition. Beautiful examples. I mean, the whole of Atma bodha is so many similes for us to get to the truth.
Brahmaraji, here Is it the illusion, or it is changing? It is going to change because Maya, it is mithya, right? This whatever is happening, it. But I mean, whatever I remember reading in Tattva Bodha, it says it exists but keeps changing. The world exists, but and what we experience is we are experiencing, but gets negated by the time and experience to not what actually is. So how can we say it is an illusion? Because we are existing here, right? And we otherwise,
Yeah, it is as long as you give it, as long as there is ignorance, yes, there is. You exist. But once there is, that is why it is called Prabodhe Satya Sat Bhavet. It's like the dream. When you're, as long as you're in the dream, you think that dream is real. You think that nightmare, whatever you're going through, that experience, you actually think it is real. But the moment you wake up, Prabodhe Satya Sat Bhavet, the seemingly existing thing becomes non-existent in the wake of knowledge.
correct.
Similarly, the whole world of objects of Maya is changing all the time. It is, because that is the nature of the world.
Yeah,
Nitya
so
and
it is
Anitya.
not either the Sat or Asat, but
Yes.
it is existing and it
Yes.
is ever changing.
Yes.
Right. That's why we
We
say it is
negate it.
neither
We negate it.
real nor unreal.
Mm.
But it does exist because, see, like in a dream, if we compare the example of dream with the Maya world in which we are, dream doesn't have any rules. I mean, but we have the rules of karma over here. We everybody is seeing the same dream. As in the dream world, everybody is seeing the different world over here, but we are in one dream. The book, the Atma Bodha, what you are reading, I am also reading. So how can that be a, can we compare that dream like
But
what
many
you dream
people
in
are
the
not
night?
reading, no? Many people are not reading.
No,
So
what I'm
it
saying, there
changes,
are
it
so
changes
many
according
people.
to your perception. It
No,
changes
but
according to your perception, because how much light you have been, you are into the knowledge. You know,
It is a question. I think we'll continue that tomorrow.
sure,
Um,
sure.
it is observer dependent. You've asked a
that is
very
what
good question. Yes, but it is observer. How I understand the Atma Bodh may not be the same as what you are
Same.
understanding.
That is what. Good.
It is observer dependent, isn't it?
No, the whole world is the perception of the mind only.
That is why I am the center of my existence. You are the
Mind.
center of your world. But then there is a common thread that is connecting you and me, which is the Chaitanya. That is constant. That is unchanged.
So that we have to
What
hold
we
on
are
to that concept.
speaking. We'll stop here today.
Sure. Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, should I revise or I can do it tomorrow once
We'll
again?
just do the Shanti part and you can play the Maya Panchakam. Kela. Om Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Tat Sat Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. Jai Gurudev.
निरुपमनित्यनिरंशकेऽप्यखण्डे मयि चिति सर्वविकल्पनादिशून्ये घटयति जगदीश जीवभेदम् त्वघटितघटना पठीयसी माया त्वघटितघटना पठीयसी माया श्रुतिशतनिकान्तशोधकानपि अहह धनानि निदर्शनेन सद्यः कलुषयति च पुष्कराद्यभिन्ना न घटितघटना पठीयसी माया सुखचिदखण्डविबोधमद्वितीयम् वियदनादिविनिर्मित्ते नियोज्य भ्रमयति भवसागरे नितान्तम् त्वघटितघटना पठीयसी माया गुणवर्णजातिभेदे सुखचिद्विप्रविहङ्कृतिं च स्फुटयति सुतदारकेहमोहम् घटना पठीयसी माया विधिहरविभेदवाक्यखण्डे बत विरचय्य बुधान प्रकामम् भ्रमयति हरिहरविभेदभावान् घटना पठीयसी माया त्वघटितघटना